Phil Ivey opens the action to $30,000 with ace-queen offsuit. It's one of those hands that plays beautifully as a raise, strong enough to push folds, but not so premium that he wants to trap. With Ivey's reputation, this sizing also tells the table he could have anything from suited connectors to monsters, which keeps opponents guessing. Antonio calls with 10-9 suited, a hand designed to punish big aces if it connects in sneaky ways. Suited connectors like this can win disguised pots, especially deep stacked, and Antonio knows he's the type of player who can pressure later streets if he senses weakness. It's bone dry, no clear draws, no top pairs, and Ivey has all the range advantage after raising preflop. Maria checks as expected, and Ivey seizes the lead with a $60,000 continuation bet. He wants to fold out junk and keep worse broadways honest. Antonio doesn't just call, he raises to $150,000. This is a statement. He knows the board favors Ivey's high cards, but it doesn't actually connect with them. A raise here puts maximum pressure on one-pair hands and tests whether Ivey is really holding aces, kings, or a hand that can keep going. Maria steps aside quickly, leaving Ivey to make the decision. That flat says everything. He isn't buying Antonio's story, and he wants to keep him firing. The turn brings the 5 of diamonds. It's a card that shifts the landscape slightly, giving straight possibilities with a 4 and bringing in the backdoor diamond draw. Ivey checks, staying consistent with a range that could easily include strong aces or even slow play pairs. Antonio bets $152,000, a continuation of his aggression that looks perfectly credible. It tells the story of a big pocket pair protecting itself, or even a set that doesn't want to give free cards.
You think Phil Ivey became the kind of guy who forgets his best friends being inducted into the Poker Hall of Fame by folding turns? Come on.
But Ivey doesn't flinch. His call here isn't just about the strength of ace-queen high, it's about forcing Antonio to keep proving his hand. With the pot ballooning, Ivey knows every future decision will be magnified, and this measured call keeps his range strong and his options open. The river falls the jack of clubs, and now things get brutal. The card looks innocent, but it secretly upgrades Antonio's 10-9 for Ivey. The board still looks like a miss for a lot of Antonio's bluffs, and this is where he flips the dynamic.
I just realized if he bets here and it's a bluff, he could go to the cage.
That's a huge bet. That's 60% of his chips. And there's the bluff card!
Oh man, Phil Ivey could be going into the cage.
I want to get to know you better. Let me know who will you choose between Phil Ivey and Antonio Esfandiari as your favorite player, and who should we compare to next? Let me know in the comments.
All in.
No! He shoves!
Phil's not going into the cage. This is literally the most disappointed I've ever been.
Antonio's just missed out on the chance to put Phil Ivey behind bars and win $25,000!
Jennifer Tilly is about to raise Daniel Negreanu blind and get herself in trouble.
I'm gonna give you action, Daniel.
I know, I'm gonna put a little in.
Raises.
I have not looked at my cards, and I'm just gonna call without looking.
Oh, boy.
And I really haven't looked at my cards. I haven't not looked.
Wow.
Like
I haven't
Tony
looked
G.
or haven't not looked.
I haven't looked, and I,
It's me first.
No, oh, you do?
Can't check.
It is?
Negreanu absolutely loves this texture.
But she's waiting.
Waiting to check.
You should just bet blind.
I'm gonna raise him blind.
Top pair with a queen kicker and an open-ended backdoor straight draw is close to the top of his range, and the board itself is great for the pre-flop raiser. He has all the strong kings, all the overpairs, and a bunch of natural bluffs. Tilly has more tens and more weird two-pair combos, but her range is also full of total air that just wanted to see a flop.
Yeah. She says, yeah. What are you doing, Jennifer Tilly?
I don't know. I have a good feeling.
You have a good feeling?
Yeah, I have a good feeling about my hand.
That's good. That's powerful.
Powerful.
Her raise to $15,000 is a classic Jennifer Tilly move. She is saying, I can have big combo draws like Queen Jack or Jack 9, and you are just c-betting too wide.
Okay, now I think I have to look at my cards.
Daniel re-raises.
Hold on a second.
He's doing the Tony G move.
Wah, wah.
Ugh, 5 high.
Wow, that was not a good play. I think the best thing for me to do here now is fold.
Yes.
But you don't have to. But I had you.
I hope that they don't show that hand.
Oh, they will.
Phil Ivey is looking down at 10-9 offsuit, but he's up against Doug Polk, who's raised to $55,000 with ace-4 offsuit. Ivey makes the call, and even though this is not the best hand to call out of position with, against an aggressive opponent like Polk, Ivey knows there's value in keeping his range wide. It makes him tougher to read and sets up opportunities to pick off bluffs later. Ivey flops top pair on a relatively dry board, but against Polk's wide raising range, it's not a hand he's looking to blow the pot up with right away. Top pair with a medium kicker plays best as a pot control hand, letting Polk keep betting with his bluffs and weaker holdings. By not overplaying it, Ivey keeps his range balanced and gives himself room to navigate later streets.
Behind Ivey, the turn, a 2 of hearts. Action on Phil.
Betting 75.
75,000, just a little over half of the pot.
This bet by Ivey serves two purposes. It protects his top pair from giving a free card to potential overcards or backdoor draws, and it also reclaims the betting lead to control the pace of the hand. Against someone like Polk, it's also a subtle way to induce, giving him room to turn a marginal hand or complete air into a bluff.
Call.
Makes the call, in position.
Against a player like Ivey, Polk knows this turn bet could easily be a stab with missed overcards or complete air after the flop check through. By calling, Polk keeps Ivey's bluffs in play, sets himself up to potentially take the pot away on the river, and makes sure he's not getting run over in position.
The river is a 6 of clubs, so Ivey's pair of 10s are best. Action is on Phil.
Can't really bet too much. Always bet the pot.
Betting 200.
You're right, Joe.
80,000.
Raise to 580.
Wow, this is a surprise. He's made a raise here.
Do you think this was a good time to bluff for Doug Polk? Let me know down in the comments.
There it is. He makes the call, so he will win a big pot. He almost looked a bit surprised there.
Doug Polk is looking down at pocket aces, but he's up against LSG Hank, who's raised to $6,000 with ace-jack suited. From the small blind, players are often expected to 3-bet to protect their position. That dynamic makes Polk's aces even more dangerous because they don't look as strong as they are. That kind of 3-bet sizing almost looks like he's trying to scare Hank off the hand rather than invite action. But that's exactly the beauty of it. Polk wants to trick Hank into thinking it's just an attempt to steal the pot, when really Doug is just setting the trap. The suited ace and being in position here gives Hank just enough to justify seeing a flop. This is about as good a flop as Polk could hope for. In a 3-bet pot like this, Hank's range is weighted towards suited broadways and pocket pairs. That means the only real hand Polk has to worry about is pocket queens. Against everything else, his aces are still miles ahead. Polk makes a value bet of around 1/3 of the pot, just small enough to make sure Hank calls even with hands that completely miss the flop.
And he now has the nut flush draw. 111,000 in the middle. Guess how much Doug will bet. It's like a little poker test. See how close you are.
Doug Polk is feeling pretty comfortable with this card on the turn. With the way they played pre-flop, there's no way Hank has 2 pair or a set smaller than queens. I think Doug should bet small again.
81. All right.
I'm telling him he should be using big ante online.
Hank puts in the call. He needs a diamond. Instead, it's the 9 of hearts.
The river changes absolutely nothing here. Do you think Polk should check and just call if Hank bets, or should he bet here and risk getting raised? Let me know down in the comments.
200,000. Beautiful poker.
All in.
All in.
All in, says Hank.
Spade, I fold. Heart, we do it again.
This is amazing.
Fold.
Show him. $383,000 pot.
Ryan is looking down on ace-deuce suited. He got involved in a few bad beats that night, but little does he know the worst is yet to come. Nick Airball takes the button and turns pre-flop into a leverage spot built on position and blockers. His small 3-bet keeps his range wide and the stacks deep, daring the blinds to define themselves out of position. Ryan answers with a chunky 4-bet from the blind, the classic polarized blend of premiums and suited wheel aces that block 5-bet value. Nick's 5-bet to 33K is deliberately petite and keeps everything playable. That sizing telegraphs polarization 2 hands happy to shovel later, and a few suited high-card bluffs that block premium combos and still see flops well. King 9 suited is exactly that kind of wolf in sheep's clothing. It removes King X from Ryan, plays clean on Broadway boards, and retains disguised equity on monotone textures. Ryan's call with ace-2 suited preserves his 4-bet bluffs and defends his story, but it consigns him to the worst seat in a 5-bet pot and leaves him short on nuttiness unless he specifically shows up with the ace of hearts.
68,000 almost already in the middle.
The flop is a monotone Broadway dream for the button, and Nick has the dream within the dream king of hearts and 9 of hearts for the straight flush. On these boards, the 5-better naturally owns the suited high card advantage, so his small continuation bet works on every level. It pressures ace-high and medium pairs. It denies a cheap look to hands with a single heart, and it looks perfectly routine whether he's bluffing or holding the nuts. Ryan's call keeps his range wide but already shaky. With ace-2 of diamonds, he has no flush equity, no pair, and no blocker to the nut region Nick actually represents. He's floating almost entirely on the belief that later aggression will fold out hands like red queens or a single king of hearts. The problem is structural. Without the ace of hearts in his hand, his story is missing its cornerstone. Every call he makes builds a pot he'll be forced to bluff later with nothing to lean on. The turn is a blank for Ryan's real hand and a test of discipline. When Nick bets again for 26K, it's the kind of second barrel that keeps pressure on weak pairs and teases calls from single heart holdings. While we wait for Ryan's decision, I would be very grateful if you hit the like button. It helps out a lot. Thank you.
What is Ryan doing? He raises.
Ryan turns to the only weapon he has and check raises to 80K. On paper, it's a move that can make sense. A blind who 4-bet pre and check the flop can credibly represent slow-played ace-high flushes or overpairs containing a big heart. The trouble is combinatorics. Against Nick's 5-bet range full of king-high and ace-high suited broadways, you need the ace of hearts or king of hearts in hand to strip value from his continuing region. Without it, you're bluffing into a range that simply doesn't fold.
You can see Ryan rolling his eyes at himself.
Nick's decision to flat rather than jam is the final layer of control. It keeps Ryan's bluffs alive, invites another shove from weaker value, and guarantees a river spot where his straight flush is untouchable.
All in. All in.
And Ryan shoves.
You win.
And loses a $383,000 pot.
Oh, what a stupid
Wow.
error.
Sarah is looking down on ace-deuce offsuit.
I'm gonna call.
She limps the button with her hand being super under-repped, super annoying to play against, because it's technically garbage, but it blocks top pair, and it can still make nutty stuff.
Me and Mrs. Finland right now, heads up.
I believe it's Ms.
Miss Finland. All right, let's see a flop.
Ronnie checks the big blind with 8-4 offsuit, which is exactly the kind of hand you want to see flops with for cheap.
10.
Ronnie hits bottom pair. Nothing special on paper, but in a blind versus limp pot bottom pair is actually real equity. You're ahead of all the ace highs, gutter balls, and random floats. He leads 15K, and that lead is important. He's saying, I have something, I'm not just surrendering.
You have something?
Yes, I do.
I believe you. I believe you.
She instantly bumps it to 30K. That raise is pressure, not value. She's repping Queen X and basically saying, you don't get to name the price, I do. The thing is, Ronnie doesn't go away. He doesn't 3-bet. He doesn't spaz. He just calls.
Why are you checking?
You raised me on the flop.
Num.
Ronnie just improved from, I kind of have a hand, to, I actually have a monster for this line. Trips in a limped pot is huge because, again, she's never putting him on 8-4. Ronnie checks, which is smart. He wants Sarah to keep telling her queen story. She obliges by firing 55K. From her point of view, this is perfect. She thinks she already took control on the flop, so she keeps the narrative going. I raised you. You just called. You check turn. I'm still ahead. Ronnie now springs the trap and check raises to 155K. That's him basically saying, okay, I've got it. Time to pay full price.
255.
She re-raises. What?
Against a lot of players, this ends the hand. People hate facing turn check raises because that's usually the I'm not bluffing anymore line. But Sarah does something that tells you how serious she is.
Really, huh? 255,000.
That is not a protection raise. That is, I am not afraid of your story. I'm upgrading it. Now pause there and think about what that looks like from Ronnie's chair. He thinks he's the trapper with trips, and then she snap re-raises his check raise. That's psychological whiplash. At a minimum, she's repping queen with a real kicker.
Ronnie, she's a little better looking than you. We're kind of rooting for her. Sorry,
Yeah,
buddy.
I know.
Maybe even something nuttier. He can't fold trips there, obviously. He calls. But the dynamic just flipped. He's no longer casually extracting. He's now in a leveling war.
All in.
And she shoves.
In Ronnie's spot, what's your move and why? I want to hear from the guys who've actually been in these pots. On your way back from the comments, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh my God! How is this happening? I thought it would be. I wanted to stay and play with you, Miss Finland.
I understand.
I know I am. I have a 4.
He shows her his hand.
Do you have 5s full or something? Oh, gee. I don't know. Do you play, how often do you play this game? Do you know I have a 4 here? You know I have trips. I don't know if I can fold this hand. I don't know how you play. I never played with you before. What is going on here? If I fold this hand and they see this fold and you have like king queen or something, it's gonna be the most embarrassing thing ever for me. You understand this, right?
Okay. And Ronnie's folded.
Holy shnikes.
Ronnie, you're going to the cage.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider watching the one you see on your screen. I am sure you will enjoy it.